Now, we'll move on to the next exercise, which is to observe the thinking process. Let go of your awareness on the feeling process in the body. Just let that be in the background. And bring all your awareness to the thinking process. If the thought comes in words, phrases, sentences, if you hear your own voice talking or somebody else's voice, say to yourself, talking, and just observe. That inner talking may continue, just watch it, or it may stop as soon as you label it. If you find yourself thinking in images, you see scenes, faces, situations, spatial relationships, say imaging, and just observe. The images may stay or they may go away. Each time there's a new arising of imaging or talking, acknowledge it and open up to it. Be detached from it. Try not to identify with it. When the images come up, try to look through them, not at them. When the talking comes up, try to listen to it as though it were just sounds, like wind or street noises, not so concerned with its meaning. It's of course very difficult to do this because the emotionally laden images and words grip us. But try to distance yourself. And let the gentle and matter-of-fact quality of your labeling process remind you to be gentle and matter-of-fact with the erupting images and words. Talking and imaging like that. Let it come and go. When emotion comes up strongly, another mental phenomenon that's common is confusion. Difficulty figuring it out. It doesn't make sense. Don't know if it's this or that. Doubt. If you find that confusion is coming up, just say confusion. Note it as another phenomenon and make friends with it. Let it be there. Don't do anything about it. Just gently and matter-of-factly acknowledge. The mind is confused, it's stymied. It can't figure out. It doesn't know. Confusion, imaging, talking, confusion like that. By making friends with confusion, you're letting go of the drive to have answers. And when the drive to have answers goes away, the answers come in a new and intuitive way. So don't need to figure it out. Don't need to have answers. For just a little while, rest from that. And be willing to be confused. Now, as before, if you find that you're having difficulty, that you're still getting caught up in the content of the thoughts, then Make the labels vocal, say the words out loud. On the other hand, if you have a degree of distancing and clarity, you can drop the labeling, but just know moment by moment. Each new sentence, each new picture, each upwelling of confusion, know when it arises, relax into it, and do nothing. But infuse it with awareness and equanimity. Observing the thinking process with detachment is very challenging. Time and time again you may be pulled back into the thoughts. That's okay. Whenever that happens, pull back. Just try to label the type of thought. Talking, imaging, confusion. And it may well happen that if the emotion is very strong, your whole mind will be dominated by confusion. Let that happen. Relax into it. For just a short time, rest from the need to have answers. Now, if you find that this is working for you, stay with it. And work on your own for a period of time. Once again, take a moment to let your whole body settle. And we're going to do a meditation to cover the entire emotion, both in terms of its arising as thought and how it is arising as feeling. Because this will be a meditation of total release. It will take even more concentration, but has the advantage of covering the entire suffering self with clarity and gentle openness. Whenever the difficult emotion arises in thought, say to yourself, talking, if it's words, imaging, if it's pictures and scenes, and confusion, if that should arise. And whenever the difficult emotion impacts as feeling, if the feeling is in one or several small areas, the throat, the chest, the stomach, etc., say local. If it affects broadly, large regions, or if you feel it over your whole being, say global. So that we will break down the difficult emotion into exactly 5 components, not all of which might be present. Talking, imaging, confusion in the mind, and local or global arisings in the body. Let your awareness freely circulate within and between these 5 possibilities, trying to maintain a balance of awareness in both mind and body. And at each new arising, at each transition, which will be every couple seconds, say to yourself which one or several of these components is involved, and pour awareness and acceptance on it for a few seconds, and then be ready for the next arising within thought and feeling. Talking, local, global, like that, in a gentle and matter-of-fact way. Give the difficult emotion permission to last as long or short as it needs to. The difficult emotion can only arise as one or a combination of 5 components. Talking, imaging, or confusion in the mind, local or global impacts over the body. Be aware, open up. If you wish to say the labels out loud to get more focus, fine. Or if you wish to drop the labeling and just be aware of the components, silently, that's fine too. Feel free to switch back and forth like gears in the car. Encountering difficulty going up a hill, actually speak the categories out loud. What if you are cruising? You can go into 4th gear and do it with direct awareness. In doing this, you're not putting any new energy into the negative emotion, either by fighting with it or by identifying with it. This hands-off attitude means that the emotion is actually a release rather than a suffering. It's a purification, an empowerment. Because of the way that you are experiencing this present moment, limiting forces from the past, the stored poison and pain of your past similar experiences are being worked out. And because it reduces suffering in the present, you'll be less likely to respond inappropriately, and therefore you'll be creating a brighter future. So even though it may be very challenging, try to continue to cover the whole phenomenon in both mind and body, keeping track of the components, and infusing them with a gentle, loving matter-of-factness. Letting them dance their dance and live their life as a kind of energy, passing through the feeling space of the body and the thinking space of the mind. As you do this, you may notice that a kind of repetitive rhythm develops. A thought will then lead to a local impact, and then that will lead to a global spread of sensation. Although it's not always in that pattern, there is a tendency for such rhythmic patterns to develop. Almost like rainwater on a lake, the drop falls. That's the thought. It hits the water and splashes. That's the local impact. And then the ripples spread through the whole pond. If you find yourself getting into a rhythm like that, talking, local, global, image, confusion, local, global, like that, then just flow with that rhythm and experience it as a releasing process. The stored energy in the unconscious turning into the kinetic energy of thought, which then splashes and releases and is dissipated through the whole body and then out into space and released forever. This is the process of purification, the cleansing from the deep unconscious through the conscious mind and body, and the releasing back to the source.